The birth certificate has been changed, documents altered, and now, 5 years later, the questions that Meghan Markle desperately wanted buried are flooding back to the surface. What really happened on the 6th of May, 2019? And why are British media outlets suddenly asking questions that Buckingham Palace refused to answer? The Duchess of Sussex thought she'd left these controversies behind when she departed for California. But this week, UK tabloids and royal commentators have reignited one of the most contentious chapters of her time in the royal family: the birth of Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor. Let's be absolutely clear about what we know. On the 6th of May, 2019, Meghan gave birth to her first child. But unlike every royal birth in recent memory, this one was shrouded in secrecy. There was no photo call on the hospital steps, no announcement of which hospital was used, and most bizarrely, the birth certificate itself was altered weeks after Archie's arrival. The question everyone's asking now is simple: why? Royal births follow a pattern in Britain. It's tradition, yes, but it's also about transparency. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, gave birth to Prince George, Charlotte, and Louis, the world knew where, when, and saw photographs within hours. The same happened with Princess Anne, Princess Diana, and Sarah Ferguson. Royal births are public events because royals are public figures. But Meghan wanted privacy. Fair enough, you might say. Except the circumstances surrounding Archie's birth weren't just private, they were contradictory. Initially, the birth certificate listed Meghan's name as Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. But weeks later, it was changed. Her first name, Rachel, was removed entirely, leaving only Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Now, changing a birth certificate isn't illegal, but it is unusual, and it raised eyebrows across Britain. Why alter an official document? Who requested it? And what were they trying to achieve? If you're finding this investigation fascinating, make sure you're subscribed to Royal Daily Report. We bring you the stories the palace doesn't want you to hear. Hit that subscribe button now. Sources close to the Sussexes claimed at the time that it was done to align with royal protocol. But here's the problem. Catherine's children's birth certificates listed her as Catherine Elizabeth, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge. Her first names remained, so that explanation doesn't hold water. Then there's the hospital question. For weeks, the British media speculated about where Meghan gave birth. The Portland Hospital was the favorite guess. It's private, discreet, and popular with celebrities. But Harry and Meghan never confirmed it. To this day, there's no official record of which hospital Archie was born in. Compare that to every other recent royal birth. We knew William was born at St. Mary's Hospital, Paddington. We knew Harry was too. The same with all of Catherine's children. It's public record. But with Archie, silence? The couple claimed they wanted privacy for their newborn son. Understandable, but they also wanted to retain their royal titles, their royal privileges, and their royal platform. And therein lies the tension that's now exploding back into public view. Because this week, several UK media outlets have started asking whether Meghan and Harry misled the public about the circumstances of Archie's birth. Not about anything sinister, no one's suggesting anything improper happened medically, but about the narrative they presented. Royal expert Angela Levin pointed out in a recent column that Harry and Meghan have repeatedly changed their story. In their Netflix documentary, Meghan described the birth as taking place in a hospital. But earlier statements were vague. Some claimed it was a home birth. Others suggested a private hospital. The details kept shifting. And now, with Harry and Meghan's popularity in Britain at an all-time low, the press is no longer giving them the benefit of the doubt. Royal Daily Report is your source for unfiltered royal news. Don't miss an update. Subscribe now and join thousands who refuse to be kept in the dark. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams told reporters this week that the secrecy around Archie's birth set a precedent for the breakdown in trust between the Sussexes and the British public. He's not wrong. From that moment forward, every interaction Harry and Meghan had with the media was viewed through a lens of suspicion. The altered birth certificate became a symbol, not just of Meghan's desire for privacy, but of her willingness to rewrite official records to suit her narrative. Whether that's fair or not is debatable. But perception matters in the royal family. And the perception was damaging. What's making this worse for Meghan now is that she's no longer protected by Buckingham Palace's PR machine. When she was a working royal, any potentially damaging story could be quietly managed, redirected, or buried. But in California, she's on her own. And the British press, which she alienated and sued, has no incentive to go easy on her. So they're asking questions. Hard questions. Questions like, why was the birth certificate changed? Why was the hospital never disclosed? Why did Harry initially claim in a video that Meghan was still to give birth hours after? Archie had supposedly already been born. These aren't conspiracy theories. These are documented inconsistencies that the Sussexes never properly addressed. And now, with King Charles on the throne and the royal family enjoying a period of relative stability, there's less tolerance for the Sussex drama. The public has moved on, but the unanswered questions remain. For Meghan, this is a nightmare scenario. She spent years trying to control her narrative, doing interviews with Oprah, producing a Netflix series, and writing her version of events. But she can't control the British media from California, and she can't erase the public record. The birth certificate is filed. The contradictory statements are archived, and the skepticism has hardened into settled opinion for many Britons. Royal biographer Tom Bower, who's written extensively about Meghan, recently said that her insistence on secrecy, whilst demanding public adoration, created an impossible contradiction. He's describing what many observers have felt for years, that Meghan wanted the privileges of royalty without the scrutiny that comes with it. That might work in Hollywood, where privacy is a commodity that can be bought and sold. But in Britain, the monarchy operates on an implicit contract. You get wealth, status, and influence, and in return, you give the public transparency and service. Meghan rejected that contract, and the public hasn't forgiven her. Which brings us to the current panic. Multiple sources suggest that Meghan's team has been frantically reaching out to UK media outlets, trying to get ahead of potential stories. They know that with Archie turning 5 this May, there will be renewed interest in his birth. And they know that the questions haven't gone away, they've just been waiting. This is the kind of in-depth analysis you'll only find on Royal Daily Report. Subscribe and stay informed about what's really happening behind palace walls. What can Meghan do now? Not much. She can't change the past. She can't alter public records again without even more scrutiny. And she can't force the British media to stop asking questions. Her best option might be transparency, but that ship sailed in 2019. Coming forward now with a detailed explanation would only invite more questions about why she didn't do it 5 years ago. So instead, she's likely to do what she's always done, claim victimhood, suggest racism or misogyny is behind the scrutiny, and hope her supporters rally to her defense. It's worked before, but with each controversy, that well runs a little drier. The truth is, the British public doesn't care about the Sussex brand anymore. The polls show it. Harry and Meghan's approval ratings in the UK are abysmal. Their Netflix projects have underperformed, and their attempts to remain relevant in royal circles whilst living in California have become increasingly desperate. This latest media storm over Archie's birth certificate is just another reminder that you can leave the royal family, but you can't escape your royal past. Every decision Meghan and Harry made as working royals is part of the historical record, and that record is being scrutinized more carefully now than ever. For Meghan, who once dreamed of being the most famous princess in the world, it's a devastating reversal. Instead of being celebrated, she's being investigated. Instead of being admired, she's being questioned. And instead of controlling the narrative, she's watching helplessly as others write it. The reopening of the Archie birth questions isn't just about a birth certificate. It's about credibility, transparency, and the consequences of choosing secrecy over honesty. And it's a problem that won't go away, no matter how many PR experts Meghan hires or how many friendly interviews she gives. The questions remain. The documents tell one story, the Sussexes another. And the British public, once willing to give Meghan the benefit of the doubt, now demands answers. Whether they'll ever get them is another matter entirely. This story is far from over.